Coming up first, we'll take a look at your local forecast and then stick around for Weather Network news. We'll cover our top national and international stories. Now, an initiative began on September 26th to October 1st through CAA and Ontario Tire Stewardship. So you might be wondering what you're looking at. Well, essentially, your dead batteries, old tires, and used motor oil are just sitting in the corner of your garage, and they don't belong in the garbage or the blue bin, so they'll take it off your hands. An interesting way to recycle some of these products. In BC, we're still looking at more rain, but these were the totals that we had from last week into Monday early morning. Some of us picking up over 100 millimeters. And then to add on top of that, the additional rainfalls we could expect to see. Also keep in mind it will be very windy along the coast of BC this evening as well. More details right now in your local forecast.
Your local forecast is brought to you by RE/MAX.
Weather news is coming up right after this local forecast.
This local forecast has been brought to you by RE/MAX. Now search properties on your mobile device. RE/MAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results.
Natasha, we'll see you a bit later.
Okay.
The newest hotspot in Aurora offers food, drinks, and a social experience. But as Audra Brown reports, at this bar, there ain't nothing but hound dogs.
Welcome to Buddy's Kitchen, Canada's first pet bar, barkery, and lounge.
And it's first class all the way.
These are all human-grade ingredients of lamb, chicken, beef, and salmon. Dogs are designed to eat more than just grains, corn, some of the lesser ingredients that we find in a lot of the brands. And so we have a philosophy here at Buddy's Kitchen that if we can't eat it, we won't feed it.
Now I have to try it then, right? It's actually not bad. It's a little fishy.
Of course, to a dog, that's a good thing.
It's no wonder we see so many pets today with health issues, and a lot of that, in our belief, stems from the poor diets that are in the marketplace.
Located in Aurora, once open, Buddy's Kitchen will offer 4 varieties of prepackaged frozen patties.
Typically for a patty is approximately $2 and change.
As well as homemade dog treats.
Beef and quinoa, we have apple and pumpkin.
And a place for dog lovers to just hang with their best friends.
learn a little bit about pet nutrition. There's a lot of confusion in the marketplaces nowadays, and to have some clear direction, I think, is really important.
And of course, with a name like Buddy's Kitchen, there has to be a kitchen. And this one is the same as you'd find at any high-end restaurant. And customers are invited to come look through these windows and see the executive chef and his team at work.
The same product that you would get at a restaurant table. Okay? We wash, clean, cut, and grind it. Cook it to the point of pasteurization, cool it off, add our wholesome beans and apple fibers to the mix, and form a patty.
20% of all proceeds from the Pet Cook Bar will go to different charities in the local community of Aurora, local adoption groups, dog parks.
Buddy's Kitchen is set to open on October 28th. For the full menu, you can go to our website, citynews.ca. In Aurora, Audra Brown, City News.
It was supposed to be a pleasant trip to a corn maze, but it turned out to be an adventure one Massachusetts family just could not handle. They got lost in the maze for an hour.
Mission. Why your TV will soon look like this if you haven't gone digital.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Coming up, the big switch. Canadian broadcasters gear up to go digital. Are you ready, or will you be stuck with snow instead of your favorite show? That's next. The time has come to embrace the digital era in Canada, at least if you want to keep watching television. Tonight at midnight, free analog TV signals will disappear, and rabbit ears truly will be a thing of the past. As Robin Gill reports, it's not something everyone is thrilled about.
Come midnight, the forecast in the Smith house will be snow, at least on their TV. Their rabbit ears will no longer work. Their 3 channels will be gone.
I'm just not that into TV, so the idea of paying for it, I'm not that into it.
Approximately 850,000 Canadian households that don't subscribe to cable or satellite will see their rabbit ears become obsolete as analog TV is replaced by digital.
It's about 10% who don't have cable or satellite that could be affected.
It's a pricey fix, a digital converter, even a new TV for some. Tech experts expect a surge in demand for high definition.
The end viewer, once they make the conversion, even through a digital to analog converter, will appreciate a significant signal improvement.
But free TV in Canada is still an option. John LeBlanc is a self-professed over-the-air enthusiast and manages to get HD quality with his antenna on his roof near Vancouver. He refuses to accept the death of analog.
It goes back probably more to the 50s and 60s when my dad had that as a hobby, and I grew up with that. So for me, it's always been natural to have free over-the-air television.
Ironically, he pays for cable through internet. So too does Scott Smith, who will be watching more movies with his son online. He refuses to become another cable guy.
I travel quite a bit, and I'll turn on the TV, and I find it's actually just irritating flipping through that many channels.
It's another box, so he's not completely unplugged. He just won't need these anymore. Robin Gill, Global News, Vancouver.
And that is Global National for this Wednesday. Tonight's Your Canada is Melmerby Beach in Pictou County, Nova Scotia.
Canada has sent a clear message to Twitter and Facebook users. Be careful what you post on Election Day. In the new world of social media, the old rules about early results still apply. Spill the beans, and you could face a $25,000 fine. Teresa Lalonde explains why.
Computers weren't invented when Mackenzie King was Prime Minister. He signed legislation that still governs the way media cover the vote. Media also means online. Elections Canada sued this BC blogger in 2000 over his website, which showed results from Eastern Canada before polls closed in the West. Elections Canada won. The reason why the Election Act was written is over the fear that if people in Vancouver knew results in the Maritimes, Ontario, and Quebec, it could change the way they vote here.
If there are complaints being made about somebody tweeting or posting something on Facebook, certainly Elections Canada could potentially lay a charge.
Could it really make a difference? Asking that question on Twitter today, most people said no. Their minds have been made up for weeks. Although in this office filled with people who work in social media marketing, you get a different answer.
If I wanted the final results to go a certain way, I would definitely take in consideration what the rest of Canada is doing.
I would likely strategically vote.
But how many will wait to see early results before they vote here?
You have a very, distinctive swerve of voting. You will not have any significant impact.
The blackout rule is being discussed heavily online, many people vowing to break it. Perhaps the only way Elections Canada can prevent it is to have all polls close at the same time. Teresa Lalonde, CBC News, Vancouver.
Soccer, baseball, and even equestrian show jumping, but a roller cup for roller derby? Yeah, it actually happened, and it's a big deal, especially for 3 Albertans back from the inaugural World Cup in Toronto. Darcy Seaton has more.
Back in the day, you found it to be a little bit more staged, like wrestling.
But roller derby has come a long way over the years. Once thought of as wrestling on wheels has evolved into a legitimate sport.
Now people are going on the fact that it's actually moving more towards the athletic side of things.
So bring together close to 300 athletes from 13 countries, and you've got the first ever World Cup of roller derby, leading to a second-place finish for Team Canada.
We knew the States would take it. They're amazing, and we were hoping to beat England, and we did.
Gone are the days of just lace them up and hit the track. These girls take the sport very seriously.
Going into this, a lot of us were doing CrossFit and running at the gym, running outside, and just paying attention to our bodies.
It is, after all, a punishing contact sport.
There's always lots of injuries. I think I saw a broken ankle this weekend, and the worst I've seen is the skate right in the eye socket.
But these girls wouldn't have it any other way.
For my family growing up, it was all about football, and I was never going to be a football player, so it was exciting to kind of get into derby.
I did play hockey and lacrosse, so I love contact sports, and it was the next step, and it's dominated by women, which is different, so it was nice.
And to have all that hard work pay off with a second-place finish on home soil.
They were cheering for us, and they were proud to be Canadian just as we were to be, so being out there for them.
We were the team having the most fun out there every time we did go out. We had fun, we had our own little dance, we had our own little cheer, and the crowd caught on to that really, really quickly.
We make history just by being on the team.
Darcy Seaton, CTV Sports.
This concludes the telecasting activities of CTV2 Vancouver Island, CIVI, a division of Bell Media. The station is licensed by the Canadian Radio and Television Telecommunications Commission and adheres to the condition of that license. CTV2 Vancouver Island transmits on Channel 23 between 524 and 530 megahertz and on Channel 17 between 488 and 494 megahertz. From all of us at CTV2 Vancouver Island, good night.
Video, and Phil Mack joins us right now, Canadian Rugby Sevens captain, and with the Vikes as well. First of all, what do you think of the video? I mean, sort of
looking
cool
pretty slick.
I
thought that, yeah, it looks pretty cool, and I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, let's talk about this weekend, Victoria International Rugby Sevens Classic, and you guys took the.
That's right, the inaugural one. You guys won it all. I guess the U20s and the seniors, and yeah, just how was it? It was pretty awesome. I thought the organizers did an amazing job. Doug Tate really wanted the trophy to stay in Canada's hands, so, we're happy to do it. That's right. I think we have some highlights of the final here, if we can take a quick look at them. And just, you guys were up, well, this is actually you guys winning another tournament. Yeah, Canada. This is that's actually Mr. Moonlight, I believe. Big John Moonlight, bullocking his way in. That's a different tournament, but talk a little bit about this, because this was a big win for you guys as well. This is Hong Kong. It's part of the IRB 7 series. Right. Yeah. So Canada is a part in 5 of the tournaments, and you accumulate points throughout the year, and that win right there was definitely one of the big ones. That was a big one, and this is shots from this weekend, and you guys played Fiji here in yesterday's, or rather Saturday's final, and just, it looked like a fun event. How were the crowds? I mean, you guys, the Rugby Sevens game is a lot different from regular rugby in that it's so quick, and there's you guys were playing 2 10-minute halves, is that correct? In the final, yeah, it's 2 10-minute halves, but, it's a shorter version of the game. It's really exciting, fast pace, and there's a high turnover rate with the teams, so it keeps the fans kind of
To raise awareness about the amount of time today's youth are spending connected to their computers, one then is running across the country to raise money for the Take Me Outside campaign, a campaign designed to get kids to reconnect with nature. And to be caught up with him today as he began his journey here in St. John's.
I mean, it's been in the news a lot over the past years. Screen time is, youth are spending over 50 hours a week in front of screens of some sort, and research is showing that it's just leading to sedentary lifestyles and inactivity, general poor health. And so if we can do a little bit to go into classrooms and tell students that getting outside is important for your health, getting active and just connecting to nature, being out in the environment and enjoying it.
Of course, the leaders will tell you the most important poll is the one taken on Election Day, but what should we take from the polls and what do they mean? Well, political scientist from Wilfrid Laurier University has come up with a way to use the regional numbers from the national polling firms and project a seat breakdown from those numbers. The magic number parties are looking for is 155, which would give them a majority. And I sat down with Barry Kay to go over his latest findings after drilling down on the polls. Barry, thanks for your time today. Obviously, you're the man we come to when we want to know about what the polls are actually meaning and what they may reflect in terms of a seat distribution for this upcoming campaign. What are your numbers showing you so far?
Well, the numbers we've just produced this morning, based on a series of polls in the few days, many of which were actually before the debate, show that, in fact, the Conservatives are still just below a majority territory. We've got them at 151, the Liberals at 75, NDP 34, and 48 Bloc. But those numbers actually have moved back and forth a little bit, really, for the last 2 months. There really hasn't been a dramatic change in public opinion, either in this region or, for that matter, nationwide in the last couple of months.
So what does that tell you then about the campaign? Does it mean the campaign isn't having an effect and people aren't paying attention?
I think people aren't interested for the most part. There are 3/4 of the population are committed to one party or another, and those people are still probably passionately concerned, liberal, conservative, whatever. But for people that are normally would be switchers, that would be moving back and forth, they do not seem to be particularly interested, and we're more than halfway through the campaign now, and frankly, things have hardly budged at all for all the various shenanigans that the parties have tried to
is available in described video. The following PSA shows text on a static background. All text is read out loud. The Canadian television system is in the process of converting some of its over-the-air transmitters from analog to digital. This is a special public service announcement only for viewers who access TVO over the air and who live in Belleville, Chatham, Cloyne, London, Ottawa, Kitchener, Thunder Bay, Toronto, and Windsor. TVO will be converting over-the-air transmitters to digital in these markets this August. Cable and satellite viewers will not be affected. To continue receiving TVO after the conversion, over-the-air viewers in these markets will need a digital TV or digital to analog converter box. Some may also need a new antenna. For details on TVO's digital over-the-air conversion, please visit www.tvo.org/digital over-the-air. Or call TVO Customer Relations at 1-800-613-0513. More information is also available from Heritage Canada at www.digitaltv.gc.ca or by calling toll-free 1-855-DTV-5050, 1-855-388-5050.
Point in history, it seems, humankind, being collectively arrogant, I think, has the idea that that culture of that time has achieved the pinnacle of knowledge, that they know everything there is to know. It is, to coin a phrase, the end of history, that there's nothing more to be discovered, there's nothing more to be known, that we have everything that we need. Some might say that in this world of technology, where all knowledge is being amassed and collected by organizations like Google, that everything that can be known, can be discovered, will be discovered, and therefore it's the end of belief, it's the end of faith, the end of some notion of powers greater than us. I think that knowledge never precludes belief. And so as we go smaller and smaller, as we can look out farther and farther, as we expand our knowledge, with every expansion of knowledge, we discover just how much more that we don't know. And so if we put our faith in science, we put our faith in some power higher than us, it's still faith, it's still belief.
TVO.org. TVO to go, 24/7.
The agenda is doing something new. In fact, you'll see something new every.
There have been seminars across the country. Some of you may have gone to them. For Canadians to discuss responsibility to protect and to discuss the future. And what about the future? What about places like Syria? What about a place where there's a long, drawn-out confrontation? Every day, 5, 10, 20, 30. On bad days, 40 people die. Is there a responsibility to protect? In September, I was given the first visa that the authorities gave to the BBC to go to Damascus. And I found the heart of its charming capital, Damascus, as charming as ever. There's no Tahrir Square in the middle of Damascus. The intelligence services have made sure of that. But there are also supporters of President Assad as well. He has some support among the minorities, including the Christians, who worry about the future. Now, Syria has never been a place where people want to discuss politics. And on my last visit, I found that most people didn't want to talk at all. They looked terrified when you even approached them to ask questions, except for those, of course, who wanted to express loud and impassioned support for the president. And one day, we were given permission, because we needed to have permission everywhere we went, to go outside this bubble in Damascus, to go to the suburbs, to go to Barzeh with our government minder. And it was Friday prayers.